Welcome back. Well, we've just been continuing on the conversation, and we've had a couple of messages in, and we've had somebody wants to know, Don, what is it really like? What's the acceleration like in that steam car, and how long was the track?
Well, the acceleration was painfully slow. It wasn't any great G-forces. We had a 5.5 mile track initially, which we managed to get extended to 6 miles on Edwards Air Force Base. But we struggled to get this 3.5 ton lump to accelerate. So it was quite pedestrian. So there was no big G-forces, which was a shame.
We wanted to think you were like the space astronaut.
No, I'm afraid not. No, but it was great fun.
Yeah,
but it was, it got up there eventually. We were still accelerating through the measured mile, when ideally you should have been accelerating or almost finished your acceleration before the exit to the measured mile. Right. So you're at top speed. We hadn't enough space.
So how much distance do you actually need to get up to speed, then the measured mile, and then the deceleration?
Yes, well, ideally your measured mile needs to be in the middle of your course, so that on the average you have to go out and then back again, so you need it in the middle for both ways. Our steam car probably needed another mile or so, so we had, say, 6 miles, but if we could have had 7 miles, then we would have had a good run up the measured mile, then that de-acceleration. And the steam car actually ran out of steam. Literally after the measured mile, because we had carrying fuel just enough for that acceleration.
So what speed did you get to?
We got to 160 miles an hour as a top speed.
Oh my gosh.
But our average was 148.
That's fast.
Well, it's fast for a steam car,
I
yes.
mean, that's still fast, isn't it? Yeah.
For a steam car.
Just out of interest, I mean, the amount of water you must have carried. I know that with old steam locomotives on the railway, you know, that was quite an important thing to keep getting water.
Yes, we had 140 litres of water on board. So not a huge amount.
Doesn't seem a lot.
No, and it was in 2 bladders either side of the driver, which then got squeezed with compressed air. But as I say, just enough water to do 4.5 miles, and you were effectively coasting down to the far end.
Wow.
Right. So you have to do, am I right in thinking that with these record-breaking attempts, you have to do it in both directions?
Both directions within 1 hour.
Within 1 hour.
And that car took 45 minutes to fill.
Oh, really?
Whoa,
so
you're up against the clock.
Yeah, so the clock starts on your outward journey when you cross the start line. So from that moment onwards, you've got 1 hour to get the car to the far end, turn it around and bring it back.
Wow.
And no one was allowed to stand behind our car because of the extreme temperatures coming out the back.
Right.
And occasionally it would have a little burp, and it would throw out yes, very hot water and steam, so you couldn't stand behind it. So turning the car around was a problem.
Right.
And then filling it up was a problem.
Right.
But we managed to do it. And in fact, on Charles's record, Charles Burnett, whose car it was, and I got invited to be the test driver, we managed to get the car back with less than 2 minutes to spare.
Ooh.
Wow.
It was very close.
It was just in time.
Yeah.
And what year did you get the world record?
That was 2009.
And you still hold it now?
We still hold it. Charles holds the mile record and I hold the kilometre record. Charles very graciously allowed me to the next day break either the car or the record. And I broke the record, which was his record to start with.
Are there any other records in the pipeline, either competitors or yourself?
Oh, well, there might be something brewing, as I've said earlier on. I can't say too much.
Yes.
Simmering away, yes. more puns. But an American team did try to beat our record a couple of years ago.
Oh, we can't have that.
No, had a little accident, but luckily, thankfully, everyone's all right.
Yeah.
Because I know that going back to the sort of late 1950s, and I can just remember, and early 1960s, Donald was really in the news all the time, wasn't he?
My Uncle Donald, yes, he was. Yeah. I mean, he really was, boyhood hero, wasn't he? I mean,
we can remember it, can't we?
We can
think back, we're old enough to remember it, the footage.
It was an iconic bit of news,
wasn't it?
But it was something that was really sort of British daring do, and it was of a sort of a national value, and you know, I'm thinking the term national treasure. I don't think that's quite the right one to use. A real hero anyway, Donald.
He was, and it was a great shame that he, was killed in his accident. Obviously. And it's one of those moments that we were discussing earlier on that people remember where they were when Donald Campbell was killed.
Sure, and I know where I was because my mother was born in the Lake District, and we were at Lake Coniston just 3 days after Donald passed away in January 1967.
That's right. Yeah.
And I do remember it well.
Gosh.
And I just thought, how terrible
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, here's something else that's terrible, although not in the same vein at all, but irritating. Nuisance is the word, really. And that's nuisance phone calls.
Oh,
yes.
We all have
get so
all
many
hate
of those.
random phone calls that we
hate
can
'em.
reclaim some insurance that we needn't have paid, or people from a far off country talking to us. Apparently the government's got an idea now that they should leave an identification, that people making these calls can be therefore tracked back because of this identification. But I'm just wondering what you all think about, shouldn't we just ban these calls altogether?
Oh, absolutely.
What good do they do?
Yeah.
I mean, we all say we don't like them.
Yep.
So what
You
good
try
are
and
they?
get off the phone as quickly as possible when you know it's this machine saying, have you been in an accident, or PPI
Yeah.
you sold, or there's such a nuisance. I feel sorry for old people as well.
It's a big problem.
Yeah.
And a lot of the numbers, the same number, time after time, several times a day for days on end.
Yeah, you have to block the callers,
You have
don't
to
you?
block
I've
the
blocked the
calls,
callers now because my phone is my business. It's my Filofax, it's everything, to me. And I get so many of those nuisance calls. Yeah, the government should step in. They really are
Definitely.
a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have any of you actually tried to use one of these services that you're actually supposed to be able to register your number?
Yes, the TPS service, it reduces them somewhat, but not entirely
No,
by
not
any
totally.
means.
They seem to get through, don't they? Yeah.
You have to, if you want to block calls on a landline, you've got to buy a particular phone, which you can do. The telecom companies aren't particularly interested because they want you answering the phone, obviously.
Yeah.
Of course.
So
No, they are a nuisance
they
on the
are an
mobiles, aren't
extreme
they? And they really
nuisance.
are.
And they can go on into the night. I mean, they can go 10 o'clock at night. We've had the same number. You can Google a number. If you see a number and you've got caller ID,
Yeah.
you can Google it, and there's lots of websites that list people's reports on these numbers, and you can see, yes, this is a nuisance caller.
It's like the 0845s and 0847s, isn't it? A lot of the
there's all
time.
sorts
A lot
of
of the time.
options, but
Yeah.
no, there should be action
Yeah.
to
Yeah, but
control
that's a good
them.
point you just made, that telecoms companies want you to answer the call, so they're not going to try and stop it. I never thought of it like that
Yeah.
before.
No, they make it difficult.
Because they obviously
Somebody's making
getting
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's
No.
probably the telecoms companies doing it themselves anyway.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Controversial, sorry.
I know that the Royal Mail, is it still the Royal Mail or just the National
I think
Mail?
it is still the Royal Mail.
Royal Mail,
Yes,
I know
yeah.
that the amount of money that they earn by delivering
Oh, the junk mail.
I mean, apparently,
yes.
that is something else that is another area. I mean, my mother lives alone, and she hates getting the calls, but she also hates getting unsolicited mail, particularly some of those that are marked householder, and
I know.
she then starts thinking, well, who's writing to me, and yet they don't know my
Yeah.
name, and it does,
You do get a
disturb
lot of
her.
that, and you're disappointed you haven't got a nice letter through the post. You've just got junk mail
nothing
or
nice
a
in the
bill.
post anymore,
I
is
know.
there?
What's happened to the old letter that we used to write?
And it's tragic. I mean, it's paper. It's made from trees, and you pick it
Yeah.
up,
It goes straight
to the bin.
Straight in the recycling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's true. Yeah.
Well, we were talking just now about the killing of Alexander Diviento, and I just wondered, with that and the fact that North Korea have apparently exploded successfly in test a hydrogen bomb, how do you feel now about the idea of us retaining a nuclear deterrent in this country?
Yeah. I think we've got to. We've got to keep a deterrent there. It is frightening to think this is going on. You want to sort of protect your children, and you worry about what's happening in the world, because who's in charge of these things? There might be some extremists out there that something awful could happen. I think we've got to keep a deterrent. I don't know if we do spend actually enough. So yeah, I'm all for it. Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, our world is changing, definitely, and our armed forces need to change to adapt to terrorism and to different forms of attack on our
It's a new
shores.
war, isn't it? It's a whole
But
new war.
also, nuclear deterrent.
I mean, how do you feel
Important.
about the idea that Jeremy Corbyn is saying, well, he'd never push the button? So if he were to become Prime Minister, and if we did have a nuclear arsenal, according to what he's saying...
How can you say that, though? I don't know how you can make that statement, really, till you really know what you're up against
I can't see how that
and
would
what threat
work,
you're under. I don't know.
It brings in another point now, which is that there was much talk in the newspapers again yesterday, I don't know whether you read them at home, about the fact that maybe Labour now have sort of moved to a position that they're really not a very successful opposition at a time when we need a successful opposition, and really, just where are we if we don't have a powerful opposition in the House of Commons? And I just wonder what you think. Do we
We need a strong leader. I don't even think Cameron's a strong leader. I don't know if any of them are really. I mean, my dad's been in politics all his life, and he's very passionate about politics, and I can't pretend to be an expert, but I think you need a strong, dynamic leader with their beliefs, but also listen to the people. I think they've lost touch, these politicians, haven't they? A lot of them.
Have, yes.
They're not listening to the people, and they say, oh yes, you vote for us. But what are they telling us? You know, they're not listening to what we want, and we have some say. We're not stupid, you know. And I think that's lost. That's getting lost somewhere. They're losing touch and not listening to the people.
But of course, Jeremy Corbyn, where he's sitting here now, he would actually say, "But I've got a huge mandate because I had a very, very large number of people in the Labour Party vote for me."
He did.
So
yes,
yeah, he did. He did.
The people that voted for him.
They believed in him, but is he proving his worth now? I don't know. Yeah. There's plenty to be fors and against with Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah. It's like a bit like Marmite. You love him or hate him.
Yes, it does worry me with the British.
Well, what do you think at home? We're approaching our third commercial break already. The programme whizzes by, and I hope you're enjoying the chat that we're having, and maybe you've got some comments. Do email us if you'd like to. We'll be coming back with you very, very shortly. And as I say, do let us know how you feel. But, it is a thought about nuclear weapons, because they say, of course, nobody ever wins with them. If somebody fire nuclear weapons at you, you fire them back. And there's two losers, but there's never a winner. But anyway, with that thought, we're closing now for the commercial break, and we'll see you very, very soon. Thanks for tuning in to That Solent. See you in a moment.
Yeah.